All right, amen. Okay, what we're going to do this morning is, before we jump into the next session, Aaron's going to give us a quick report. Come on up here, Aaron. And let's hear from Aaron. These guys went out yesterday on a house key search, and he's written some numbers up here. What happened, bro?
Yeah, we about 12 of you went out. We did a house of peace search, and we had an absolutely epic time. And the way I know that is because last night I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning. So if you don't know, that passage in Luke is actually an extremely pivotal verse and point in Luke. The spiritual climate before and after that verse are totally different. So it makes for an awesome Bible study. So I want to get to some numbers. So I've been tracking these things for some time, and so has Ray, using these categories here. Yesterday, so between the 12, we had 52 encounters. And I just want to walk through real quick what this stuff means if you don't know. An encounter is you talk to anybody about anything. You could have just said hi and they said goodbye. That's an encounter. Prayed with. We had 27 prayed with. That means we prayed with, they allowed us to pray with them. Okay. Gospel shares. We had 11 gospel shares. So we got to the point where it was appropriate to share the gospel. Then we got these three things. They're indented here because I do my red, yellow, and green lights as a response only to the gospel. And then I have pre-existing. And sometimes we share the gospel. We don't know they're a pre-existing Christian, so they're not necessarily going to have a red light or yellow, green light. Anyways, these numbers will add up to that top number. So red light is we shared the gospel, and they're basically like, no thanks, get lost. Yellow light's like, I'm not sure, not yet. Green light, they accepted Jesus. So yesterday, one person gave their life to Jesus
Amen.
Christ. Yeah. And then we had 10 follow-ups. Follow-ups, that's somebody that says, yeah, you can come back and share a story of Jesus with us. Okay? And then I put some percentages over here. So 27 is 52% of 52. So that means of all of the 52 people we talked to about anything, 52% of them said, yeah, sure, you can pray with me. Wow. Okay. This number over here, I know some of you can't read this very well, but that says 45%. That's a national average over about 1,800 encounters. So we were, our experience yesterday in Houston was better than the national average as far as prayed with. Gospel shares. We were at 21% of the people we prayed with, a little bit below. Green lights. National average is 4%, and this is actually 1 is divided by 11, 4%. Follow-ups, national average is 19%. We got 19%. So that's cool, because one of the ways I use this in a training in San Diego was I had a group of about 40 people. I knew we could get to about 50 encounters, and I was able to tell them before we even went out, hey, with a group this size, people that have never done this before, we can expect at least one person to give their life to Jesus before we went out. And people were like, woo, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to do this. And then we came back, and sure enough, one person gave their life to Jesus.
Wow.
So, it's pretty cool to not only encourage them up front, but then for them to see it actually happen based on, me telling them this is what's going to happen, and boom, they come back and that's what happens. But I can tell people with confidence, based on me tracking these things over the last 2 years, that, hey, this stuff's going to happen. Plus, you can use these numbers for troubleshooting. Like, let's say our prayed with percentage was 30%, and the national average is 45%. Hey, something's different there. Maybe it's the context, maybe it's the training. Maybe we need to train on how we're asking the questions and approaching people with prayer. So anyways, I like keeping track of these stats for those main reasons. The other thing I like about keeping track of these stats based on the gospel is only 2 people out of 52 actually rejected the gospel. A lot of people will go do this because they're like, oh man, share the gospel, people are going to reject it. 2 out of 11, if you just want to show the gospel presentations. People don't reject the gospel that much. People have built that up in their minds. So I just wanted to share that with you and thank the guys that went out.
Great. Thank you, Aaron. All right, Chris on the follow-up. Are you guys going to follow up on these contacts? Yeah. All right, great. By the way, to talk about the importance of prayer, I have a friend who, she travels all over the U.S. and does a lot of consulting. She feels like Houston is the most prayed over city in the U.S. And so part of your strategy should be, we want our city just covered in prayer. When we went to China, the same lady, her name's Carol, she told us, Steve, you should expect a movement because Baptists have been praying for China for 150 years. Like, yeah, okay, now we can go take China, So just, that's the importance of prayer in what we're doing.